Yes.
Hey guys, welcome in. Welcome in. We're here in Orange Park, Florida tonight. I'm going to step out real quick. The meeting hasn't started yet. We're in Orange Park, Florida tonight. And we got a story that's coming out. You guys will see it soon enough. About some of the stuff that's going on here in the community center. So we went out here earlier today. We checked out the community center. We made it here to City Hall. We made some public record requests. You'll see those videos. And basically now we're going to wait on the meeting to start. Thank you, sir. Go ahead. I'm out here with Rights Crispy today. We're going to be out here with Rights Crispy, J-Town Press, Blue Steel, and Blue Steel's buddy, Andre. So should be a pretty good evening. We've already... what's that? Mm-hmm. Oh. All right.
This city here, I have to get really close to this. Fulton, a recreation committee meeting for Wednesday, April 27th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. To our clerk, we do have a quorum, all members of the committee are here. Our next order of business is to approve the minutes for the January 29th, 2026 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? I make a motion to approve. I'll second. And a motion is second, any discussion or anything? All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes have it, the bill go into the record officially. Tonight's agenda, our first item of the agenda is to talk about the RL Hunter and Herbert sign at the TC Central. Before we do that, it's so nice to see everybody here. We don't have as many people in our community, and so we're glad. But if some of you are interested in speaking, there's a speaker card at that reference at that table by the door. Please go and get it and fill it out and give it to our town clerk, who is Courtney Russo right here in the blue. And then we can call them up, the people up in the corner, which they want to speak.
Is there another pen? Okay.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward. You can do that, Mr. Our town manager starts with an overview on the issue and what we are going to discuss tonight as a committee. Thank you.
My name is Luke Taylor, I'm the town manager. So, in a previous committee meeting, there's a reference to our sign GC Miller Center in Park. And continue the meeting, made the statement that signs should be made on public time, and so committee directed staff to look into it. Determine if the park was officially made back in 15th. And so they went ahead and removed that sign. And then it was brought to our attention about, I'm sure the Wilbert sign and the impact and the legacy that particularly Mr. Wilbert had multiple generations. And so it was brought to me about restoring the sign in that capacity. So I requested that request council and council approve to culture, right? So we can make sure that we follow the appropriate path, so that it can be done in the efficient ways, and any potential mistakes in that aspect or what could be avoided in the future, and the legacy is to it's preserved in a way that it should be in that capacity. So we do have some members in contact with us, some committee members as well as Mr. Wilbert's daughter, Ms. Jackson. It's a video that we have. We can put on this presentation for the background of Ms. Wilbert in particular, and we can play that. And then there's also some information that is provided. Herbert's life in general, as well as the testimonial side replacing that. So I met with community members and me as well. This company guided that process. Ultimately, I don't know if we want to proceed first. That's ultimately where we are here. We understand the sensitivity of the situation and
And would you complete on any of the documents, would you like to go ahead and proceed with this time? Okay, that's absolutely perfect. See that better?
Yeah.
Coach Wilbert is a true trailblazer, cut from a different cloth. He shapes young athletes into men, instilling discipline, accountability, and a strong work ethic, while showing genuine care for their success. After graduating from Wilbert High School in 1954, Herbert attended Florida Memorial College, or FMC, in St. Augustine, Florida, on a football scholarship offered by Coach Nathaniel Washington. As a freshman, he was elected team captain and was part of the 1955 Southeastern Athletic Conference SEAC championship team, beating Florida A&M University. He graduated from FMC with a bachelor's degree in physical education and health, and went on to earn a master's degree later in life. During his time at Florida Memorial, Herbert was also inducted into Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, a proud milestone that marks his lifelong commitment to the fraternity's principles of achievement, service, self-respect, and brotherhood. Although he initially worked in the auto parts industry and construction, his heart was always in sports. Herbert served as a softball and baseball umpire, football referee, and took on his first coaching position with the Orange Park Athletic Association, or OPAA. His success with OPAA eventually led to a coaching position at Orange Park High School. During his time at Orange Park High School, Coach Wilbert won special lifetime honors with fellow coaches and school administrators, including Terry Knowles, Ken Taylor, Sam Moore, Danny Chapman, and many others. In the 1970s, he built unity and brotherhood on a predominantly white team during the time of heightened racism, bonds that have lasted for over 40 years. He also put Orange Park on the map, leading his team to a landmark victory at the Jacksonville Gator Bowl against one of the nation's top-ranked teams. Coach Wilbert was celebrated for his leadership during the 1973-74 season, earning recognition in the book Community Leaders and Noteworthy Americans, published by the American Biographical Institute. Unknown to many, Coach Wilbert was also an accomplished swimmer and held a water safety license. He displayed true courage to rescue two men after their boat capsized. The Red Cross National Aquatic School in Ocala, Florida, awarded awarded to him the Robert G. Strong Award for his heroic passion. Throughout his life, Coach Wilbert dedicated himself to serving the youth of Orange Park, mentoring countless students who thrive on and off the field. Known for his passionate coaching, he received numerous accolades, including trophies, plaques, and in 2003, Coach Wilbert was inducted into the Orange Park Raiders Hall of Fame for his outstanding contributions to football, basketball, weightlifting, and track and field. 16 years later, in 2019, Coach Wilbert was presented with a plaque and inducted in the African American Coaches Hall of Fame by the African American Coaches, Games Officials, and Athletic Association in appreciation for his dedicated service as a coach for the Jacksonville community and surrounding areas. Led by Ronnie Flowers in 2005, the town of Orange Park expanded the TC1 Community Center by adding an adjoining park, naming it the Herbert Wilbert and R.L. Hudson Park, in honor of Coach Wilbert's contributions and dedication to sports in the Orange Park. In 2022, former football stars from Orange Park High School and coaches from the OPAA, led by the driving force of the Edward and Annie McKees Foundation for Life, presented Coach Wilbert with the Pioneer Award as the first African American football coach in the town of Orange Park after integration. The honor was awarded in grateful appreciation for Coach Wilbert's outstanding determination, bravery, knowledge, and dedicated service to the people of his community. Beyond the field, Coach worked with local leaders like Quake E. Cotton to push for social justice, secure financial support for families in need, and improve community resources like roads and practice fields. He carries Orange Park on his shoulders because he truly loves his community. He's also honored by the Clay County School Board and town of Orange Park. Coach Wilbert's nearly 50 years of service leaves an enduring legacy of excellence, resilience, and commitment to youth inequality.
Our mighty reading for every year on Red on Down Spoke activities. Why don't you make it read? Why don't you read? Why don't you mighty read? Tell you in. Why don't you make it read? Why don't you win? Why don't you make me read? And we will win.
Great. Thank you, family, for sharing. So we'll go back down to the rest of our agenda. Messages that have been sent to the town council and to you, Mr. Taylor, regarding the support of the sign and the complex, et cetera. I wanted to say that so I think those people are in the audience. And already for us to read, you give them to us tonight, just received a few days after our package just came out. But if you're going through the packet with this, Mr. Taylor says you have an audience and a resolution that comes out of the town first made in July, in 2015, 2015. Naming the $16 center, what it is, GCR, community center. And park, yes, and that's, it's in here. I just didn't mark the page. And so, the sign that we talked about, that we talked about in January, and we're talking about tonight, was a sign that recognized Coach Wilbert and Coach Hunter, and I thought that sign was attached to this TC center, not just the park. So maybe someone made something. And we did ask this committee after we researched it, that the sign be removed, because the town council in 2015 named it. And so I know that you all, read your packet, you have a lot of opinion, you go ahead, and you have any questions of Mr. Chairman? Anyone? Okay. Questions? Don't forget to turn your microphones on. And I'm not sure, we have some great articles, about, the coach Wilbert, and what it does. I guess one of my questions, Mr. Taylor, we researched, really have, when I even, everything I read about this gentleman, I found online additional information that you provided in the packet. Talked about not only his time at high school, but his time at OPA and our athletic field. And he was apparently a great mentor as a member to a lot of people. I guess my question would be, why wouldn't this time there for that time, the town working as opposed to the TC oversight? Do we have any information about anything like that?
As far as I understand it, and there is this Jackie oversight of that context as well. Ultimately, I think that's because that's where the original sign is placed.
Okay.
Obviously, the connection to the application. Family ties. And when I'm at this couple of I want to make sure that any they've been heard about correctly. And also to hire Mr. Harris, capacity that is commensurate with their impact on multiple generations. And obviously by the testimonies and very, very wonderful crowd. It's important that there is support there. That works in conjunction with the family and what their wishes are. And also takes the team into that capacity. So ultimately, that's kind of where it came from. Was at the request of potentially state sign. And then my suggestion on top of that, just a sign, was to put something there. It gives us information about. I learned so much more. Wilbert, we haven't been able to have much of this. But I think with whatever work to we put information I think that's important as well. It's not just the sign, but to expand on why that sign is, and why those two are the desire for myself as well as people want to, desire community to do it and then to put that information out there. So those who aren't familiar, when they go up, they're like, why is the sign here? And then there's a biography to some extent there. I think would be a great tribute to his life.
What do you all think about that? I do. Something like the history.
And I,
Yeah, the history one.
and if I may, obviously I want to make sure that, given the sensitivity of the situation, that their family is deeply involved in how that is crafted and how that is fitting of what they wish. So if you do have direct questions, I know it's free if you're willing to share any questions you have. I think we can work in conjunction with the family and Mr. Flowers is around getting information to as well. So I think in working in conjunction there, we can come up with not only the resolution, also the end product that is satisfactory to the families of those involved, because it is obviously a sensitive issue and we pay special attention to that.
Actually, I do. Over the past 7 years, County Orange Park has tons of history, but I think some history has been left out. And the reason is, I don't know, but I think it's very important to recognize everyone that has input into the Town of Orange Park history. Over the last couple of years, the Historical Society has started during this tour at the no, like the cemetery, the Black History Tour, and that brought a lot of history to light. We have so many people on our cemetery which either didn't have gravestones, didn't have the recognition they should have had, and that is one thing that came to light the last couple of years. It's the Historical Society that brought to light, and I think it's very important to recognize who was fighting in what war. The war was, it was all of us, and all of us should have credit, not just a few. And I think this is a perfect example. This is someone who was very instrumental in our community, but he got lost. I'm to be honest, I'm glad this came to light because he shouldn't be lost. And I want to say just to his honor, that was great. And there was one thing I didn't see till you put it up there, where he was the first coach to bring white and black students together, which that means a lot. And I think we need to focus on that. We need to recognize the recognition it's deserved. And I'm sure this committee will do what's right. But I just want to say, and I'll give you another piece of history I learned. Over on Macintosh, it wasn't until a year ago I heard about the Iceman. And I was fascinated with that. And I was like, where is this building at? I drove by it all the time, but I didn't know where the building was. Because to me, we should recognize that building too, because just listening to the history of the Iceman and how he brought ice around Orange Park, and that's history. And I don't know why that's never been recognized, but I truly believe that is something else we need to recognize in the future and go, this building, we need to preserve the building, we need to dedicate it, bring history back for everyone, not just a few. And I'll add more later, but I'm just, my view on this, history got lost. And I'm sorry that happened, but we're here to fix it.
I'm not going to say, I coach Wilbert. I went to Orange Park High. He was one of my coaches. I graduated in 1986, probably around the height of his career by the video that we just watched. You know, he was a great man. He made PE fun, which is hard to do. And, you know, I think he should be recognized in some way. I think there was just some confusion with something what the name of the park was. I think it's where maybe some of the confusion. So.
I would definitely echo that. I went to Orange Park High and I remember him very well. He was definitely a smile on his face and always supportive of everything. That doesn't even recognize it. I personally just did not realize all the major accomplishments he has done even through that time. So thank you so much for that information as well. OPAA is that football program is because of him. So he's done a tremendous amount for the town and for the youth and for for the community. So thank you.
Well, and I agree. The first thing I did when I read about some of this history and learned about this, of this gentleman, of these two gentlemen, was saying, why don't we have something that tells that story? Because I've only known
yeah, ask about a mural on that song.
Okay.
We should put one or no? Yeah, put one.
This time, because he's still 35, but it was you know, nonetheless, I agree, these are things that we do. It's a very rich, healthy history.
Sorry, guys, I'm on StreamYard, so I can't flip the screen. And I can barely see the comments in the comment section. It shows me like one at a time. So, I mean, right now I'm like, they're just gaslighting us, you know, oh, this guy was so great. Well, then you wouldn't have taken out the sign. They're just gaslighting us because the community's here and are upset about it. So, but there should be community comments starting soon. A few of us did sign up. I know I did, Lana did. So we'll get into it. Let's see.
That's my suggestion.
So I do have one question though. Why was nothing ever corrected at OPAA, just out of curiosity?
Come on, Mr. Flowers, and tell your name for the record, so that it's for on the record.
My name is Lon Flowers, 471 McIntyre, lifelong resident. Also played on Herbert Wilbert championship team.
Hi, Ron.
Was mentored by Herbert Wilbert as a leader in this community, as somebody who was doing something. Him and R.L. Hunter was the only people who were really doing anything. I say Mr. Gaines also, because he was an advocate. And these people are the history of Orange Park, not the history that two people are bringing to you. And Mary, you know what I'm talking about. Go to that point. Like Herbert Wilbert was a pioneer, I think, in everybody outside. Most of the majority of these people raise their hand and say Herbert Wilbert influenced their life in one way or another, as well as R.L. Hunter. I remember R.L. Hunter, if I could briefly elaborate on R.L. Hunter. His son was supposed to be here, but he worked with this big major corporation and decided they was going to have a meeting on this thing. Yeah, but his daughter is here. She's welcome to say anything that she would like in a positive note towards her father. R.L. Hunter to me was my dad. The things he did, and she can testify. We were raised up in a racist town. Nigger was the main thing for us. We went to Orange Park Elementary as the first blacks that ever went there. We didn't have that in our set, that word. They would play nigger cooties. We went to our home and it was corrected then what it was. Abused by the white people in this community. Well, I'm so compassionate, and Mayor tell you that on everything that I go about doing is for a cause. I'm not here to run in no smoke. I'm coming up here for a kissing contest with people. I'm coming up here for facts and nothing but facts. R.L. Hunter started a Taekwondo. Ron Dasher, that was her boyfriend at that time, opened up the center for us to learn martial arts. After that, young lady, white lady who came to us and said, look, there's no more Taekwondo going on. How about we do a clothes closet to help the poor people in the community? I wasn't against it, but I didn't see fit at the center for it to be there. Keep in mind, we ran the center pretty much after the elementary school opened up and integration came. So they shut down the building in 64, 65. So it was vacant then. Taekwondo came in, closed closet, now which is over here. The same lady found it, we worked together. We started a weight room. Bobby Hunter pretty much ran that. Along with the police and the fire department used that facility until they built their own. Okay? Anything in this community should testify to that was done wrong and unrighteous. R.L. Hunter was right there with it. Right here and over there at the police station. Got arrested, if I'm telling a little lie, stop. Got arrested for some of the unrighteous things that was doing because he firmly believes it. He was like me. He had passion for everything that he done. And if it was wrong and you brought it to him wrong, he was going to take care of it, just like me. And so some wrong had been done. He's worthy of his name on that sign. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have put it. Herbert Wilbert's name is worthy in that part. And why that part? That school was built 1938 for Black kids. Brought to that community that black community for black kids, put there for black people to use. I'm appalled, Emily, of what's going on with it now.
Mr. Flowers,
Mhm.
please don't call out any names.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
This
sorry.
is- this
Okay.
is-
Like I said, I get passionate.
I understand.
Keep me on the floor.
Keep us on track.
All right, we gonna form you. I got you. You already said that. I got you. I got you. Thank you. Okay. But to get back to the history of that building, it was brought there to be used for black people in the black community. I want it back there. That's another fight we got. And somebody coming up here saying that the sign is not worthy, that's unjust. These are leaders here in Orange Park right here. You looking at opposing number -1. But everybody in here has a compassionate part of her woman and RL Hunter that's been impacted to me the most, I guess. That's the reason why I had the presentation T.C. Miller brought forth. I'm the reason why that's there. I'm the reason why all that the things have been done to that building and that park is there. I'm the pioneer behind that, driven by these people, knowing that in this community, you got to stand up for whatever is right. And that's all I'm doing. If it's unrighteousness, I ain't got nothing to do with it. If it's unrighteousness, I ain't got nothing to do with it. But in this community, we're going to stand from here on out, from this day forward, together. When there's a cause that is unjust, done by anybody of our color in this community, we're going to stand up for it. So we're hoping that you do the right thing with this sign. We have activists here from South Florida. We have activists calling me from Washington State, ready to jump and pound on Orange Park, which I beg them not to, because I knew the righteous people that God put on this community going to take it to council. And that's what we're here for. And that's the only thing that we're here for, is to see unjust done the right way. Any questions that you want to ask about Herbert Wilbert or RL Hunter at this time?
Yes, sir. I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay.
The microphone.
Okay, and also, one of the main things, sir, he was always active with kids. He loved kids. Sunday school teacher. Everybody loved this crazy youth. And a national baseball player as well. He played with the Negro League that we had here in town too, so he was an athlete as well. And the park was fitting to name after a teacher who was a teacher. T.C. Miller Learning Center. The park was named after athletes, which was just. And you talk about the Orange Park Athletic Association. We tried numerous times to go and let's do something for him, which I think at one time, Jackie might be correct, but they tried to do something. I don't know what happened. It just didn't go forward. Just like with T.C. Miller, we tried to name the actual school after T.C. Miller, and the county wasn't having it. So we took the range on our own. We want to recognize our own people, if that's all right with y'all. Yeah, if that's okay. We would like to honor the people that honored us and implemented us, if that's okay. So in hoping that this committee here would have the full understanding that the purpose of us getting here is to do the unjust that was done by removing that sign to make it the way it was. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers. Comment for discussion purposes for anyone who don't know, the Orange Park Athletic Association, formerly usually known as OPAA, uses facilities and fields that are owned by the town of Orange Park. And the fields and all those facilities are actually named the Orange Park Sports and Recreational Park. We have, as a town, we decide what goes in there and what doesn't in that regard. We don't have to depend on OPAA for signage or anything else. We discuss that, just an FYI. Once again, the sign was removed at the direction of this committee, coming to us and asking that we remove it. Not because anyone thought these people weren't worthy, we just couldn't find any history to figure that out. Obviously, we didn't necessarily ask the right people, but you don't know what you don't know. And when you don't know who to ask, and you don't know what to do, you look back in the record. And that's what we did. And our records indicated that the sign was to come down, that it could remain, that they were going to do something else. And this was in 2015. That was a long time ago. It's all right, Mr. Flowers. I'm just going to explain. We're going to move on with our discussion. Do we have any ideas of what we would like to do as committee? I'm going to put it back to us.
As far as the sign goes, make a motion to have a sign installed with some history for both Mr. Wilbert and Mr. Hunter.
It has to go to council. We can't make that decision, but we can make a recommendation for council for that. It's for Mr. Wilbert, and even from Mr. Hunter, if we can get some history, talk with the family there. The question would be where in that recommendation, maybe we'll just, what do you think, Mr. Mayor, suggest the town council make that decision?
You know, I think there's hear a lot of things, talking with his daughter, talking with Mr. Flowers. And I brought up PAA, why do you put something out there? And talking to the two individuals, they would like us to find ways out. And, you know, in my eyes, if that's what the family wants, that's what the family should get. And that whatever we send to council, that should be the recommendation. You know, it's telling the wishes of what the family has asked. Again, I don't know in 2015 why the town/council didn't even do anything. I don't know, that's past, but we need to fix it and we need to do the wishes of the community.
So to have the history.
Motion and a second. Before we have any more discussion, because it is a motion, some of you have speaker cards and you would like to speak. How many do we have? Well, we are going to allow speakers for 2 minutes each and Courtney will time it. It's just for timing purposes, so that we don't, if you want to speak and you didn't turn in a speaker card, because some of you came in at the beginning of the meeting, please feel free to go up to that table and get a speaker card and get it. And we want to ask you to come to the podium. We can get you on the microphone easily for record keeping purposes. And we will just again to keep for the minutes and for the record keeping purposes, etc. Courtney, do you want me to call? Who's first? Do that way first.
Sherman Smith.
Sherman Smith is the first one.
Sherman Smith, subsistent with my travel in Florida. To me, the most important thing, aside from this, is history and the purpose of history. It's about identity. And whenever you erase history, you're erasing the opportunity for our young people to aspire. So when that history is moved, they're only left with what other people say, and most of that is negativity. So they grow up angry and mad. So they can't contribute to society. But with history, they can say, someone that looks like me are doing some great positive things, so can I. So the inspiration that comes from history, the mistake that's been made over time is the erasing of history. But we want to say it's about the children. We want to say it's about the community. We want to say it's about
peace. You can't have peace when a child is confused and don't know who they are. So once we can fix those things, we can make contributors to society and things are more peaceful. So all the things you see in our society comes from lack of identity. Can't identify with positive people and positive things. That's what this has to be about more than anything. The protection of history. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you pull that in front of you?
Can you hear me now? Yes, sir. Betty Robinson, demo 1628 Middle Street. I first want to clear this up. I'm not here opposing anything pertaining to Deacon Robert Hunter. That's not why I'm here. Everything that you said, I stand behind you. I know both of them. I'm going to talk about Reverend Hunter first. Because I know Reverend Hunter, Deacon Hunter, I'm sorry. I stand 150% behind what you want to do for him. Because he's a man of God. His homegoing service was held at St. Simon. So he was a man of God. And whatever honor you want to give him, you get 150% from them. Now, let me talk about the reason. The sign was nothing but a sign with two names on it. It ain't no history. It said nothing. People just walked in with the sign. And the reason why I requested that it be moved, because it was in the wrong place. That's why I requested it be removed. Number one, I can talk to you. Number one, it was placed at T.C. Miller. T.C. Miller started her legacy at the age of 17. She worked 40 years teaching. The school was named after her. The honor was given to her. Her legacy. T.C. Miller represent me because I'm from the secretary of school. That's why I have this. If you want to put anything, and you should, but everything I heard said Orange Park High, or OPA. I didn't hear one thing about Teresa Miller, not one word. So to me, it was in the wrong place at the time I'm supposed to be. Well, I stopped, you know, I'm a member of Orange Park Historical Society. So I support Black history.
Hey, first of all, I'd like to commend everybody that works in Orange Park. The one thing that you want to do in life is travel, go some other place, live somewhere else, and you'll find out how good Orange Park is. Orange Park is a great place, and I'm so happy I didn't have to go to a school called the Forest Rebels. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that in Orange Park. We got Lakeside Gators, Orange Park Raiders. Yeah, we're way ahead of the game. As far as Mr. Hunter, Mr. Hunter's two places I saw him. One Bible study, the other one in the weight room. Mr. Hunter was cutter, diesel, and an excellent motivator. That was big time for me. The other place, Coach Wilbert. Coach Wilbert wouldn't want to play for somebody who coached a team that beat the Astro Bees. Do you know who the Astro Bees had on their team? They had all kind of NFL players. Coach showed up with white boys and black boys in Orange Park. Who would have bet on Orange Park? So to do what he did, He didn't have a problem with me. I wanted to play for him. It was an honor to play for him. He got in, and I was coached by him in the 10th grade. He would get in football games with no pants on with us. You know, coach was a hard man, mean man. And you didn't play with him, but can't take it. So, and also, I just gotta say this, I know you got 2 minutes, but I gotta tell you about Ryan Flowers. The rest of the world, they had Colin Kaepernick. We already had one right here. Quarterback, a leader. We had one right here. The coach Ken Taylor, I'll tell you how good of a football player he was. I know that it's all about football. We got to go to school too and learn something. but I'm telling you, I lived in New Jersey, Wisconsin, Green Bay. Oh, and another thing too, when I was with the Patriots in '93, it was another player on the team. Oh, I got my backup. It was another player on the team. It was a white guy named Chris Gannon. We played on the same OPA team. In 1993, we were both with the New England Patriots. How rare was that? Two kids from Orange Park on the same team. NFL. Hey, keep doing it, make it right. Y'all know, make it right.
Dupree, great job, Jacksonville, Florida. I must say that when Mr. Flowers and Mr. Smith notified me that the signage had been removed, that I was hurt, disappointed, angry, to say the least, because I know that my father personally dedicated his life to the town of Orange Park. I also know that Mr. Hunter profoundly committed himself to uplifting the youth at the community center. They molded young people's minds. I want to say quickly, I grew up here in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. I attended Orange Park Elementary, Lakeside Middle. I attended Orange Park High School. I excelled academically, athletically. I received a track and field scholarship to go on to Tennessee. I obtained my bachelor's of science degree with a double major. Went off and excelled in my career at the highest level of government, the state of Florida. I served under 3 attorney generals, Bob Butterworth, Charlie Crist, Rick Scott, and 3 governors. And I know what my dad instilled in me allowed me to self-discipline, self-pride, self-respect, work ethic, second to none. He would not allow no one in here to do nothing but their best. You give me your best, and you will excel in everything in life. So I'm not here to beg anyone to acknowledge what my dad has done, but I did come to let you know that he was a good man. He was a man of academia, education. He moved from Orange Park. I'm going to stop, but I'm just going to let you know that my objective here today is to have the signage replaced.
To everyone, I worked for the town for 30 years. I was in town. I represented the town. Also was the union representative for the town. I've seen a lot of wrong done by town council. I've seen a lot of Blackstone erased by the town council. I've still keep my mouth shut because I was a town employee. I'm no longer a town employee. I no longer have to keep my mouth shut. These two people, they were God-fearing people. Not only did they help black people, they helped everybody. Everyone. Color didn't matter to them. And the sign being taken down was wrong. And I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to make sure that the wrong is wrong. That's all we want. We want it put the way it should be put. And they were God-fearing people. And they did their best when odds was against them. And we want everybody to know. And that's all we want. Nothing more, nothing less. Thank you.
Ken Taylor.
Wilbert was a friend, most of all, and his influence on white, black, red, yellow did not matter. All he had was love in his heart. And the biggest things I remember about Coach Wilbert was he, for whatever reason, asked my advice. And I still don't know why, because he was a wise man. There's no limit to how we can honor his name. There is no limit of the influence he had over athletes, coaches, me being one of those. I had graduated from Orange Park High School, went to the football scholarship to the University of Richmond, came back, was going to coach in Ocala, Florida. But guess what? Coach Herb Wilbert talked me into Florida Orange Park. Most people don't know that. He was a man of honor. He was a man of distinction, and he was a man of love. Black, white, yellow, green, it really didn't matter. It really didn't matter. And any way that we can honor him, I don't think we can build a sign big enough to honor this man and his encouragement to young people and coaches like me. And I was a young rookie at that time, and having graduated from Orange Park High School, played at the University of Richmond. But he was an inspiration, and we've got to make sure that inspiration continues. Amen.
Go stand up to my guys. It says Ron Flowers.
I just want to make sure that we stay focused on the history of who he was. And speaking of throwing Orange Park Athletic Association, that's not an option. That was something that was brought to us by the mayor. We're not opposed to anything, but like I said, the history of that center and that neighborhood is worthy of that sign, Mario Hunter and Purple. Thank you.
Is it Lee Larson?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment during general comment.
You have to go to the
Okay.
podium.
Is this the general comment time, or is it for the agenda item?
I'll hold it.
Okay, just for the general comment. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Someone that says they're a conservative citizen in Lake County.
Part of the reason that it was removed, I think, not necessarily, that Black history gets whitewashed all across the country, has been for years and continues to be. I go to that park regularly. I'm a relatively new transplant in Florida. I saw the sign, I looked up the names. You can find the history if you really want to. Race, we need to honor the Black people here. I didn't get the name, they didn't have it because my name doesn't matter. Their names do, their voices matter.
Right. Christie.
Hey, thanks for having me here, thanks. And I'm sorry I stepped on the coach's video intro for being late. You wouldn't like being late, sorry. Questions regarding interior renovations on the, PC building?
So the interior renovations are not on tonight's agenda, we're not discussing that. We're not even discussing the TC Mill tonight at all. What we're discussing is the R.L. Hunter and Herbert Wilbert signs at the TC Mill Center.
Right, okay, so with regards to that, restrictive covenants and public benefit, Mayor Anderson, you signed a restrictive covenants for this property on March 18th, 2026, which legally binds us down to a 10-year commitment to use the site for the public benefit. How does an exclusive private lease to an art gallery for $10 a year satisfy a legal requirement for benefit? Especially
So
for
that's
long-
not on our agenda.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's not on our agenda.
All right, so let me just say, given that the grant was titled African American Historical and Cultural Grant, how does the removal of historical markers, Coach Wilbert and R.L. Hunter designating them as unnecessary, align with your legal obligations to the Florida Department of State to preserve this as a historic resource? I went in there personally, and I saw the only mention was way in the back, like in the back of the bus. And I said that to those ladies. I said, how come there's only this and there's a whole bunch of other art? Oh, because we don't have enough African American cultural art to display. I said, I don't think they talk to the right people. You know, why wasn't that done?
And so we're not discussing the interior of that building generally. The
Okay,
only
how
thing
come the
we're
reason-
discussing is the sign.
Okay, in public comments, I can discuss all that other stuff, right? Okay, may I?
Yeah, hurry, because time's almost.
But in the public comments, good.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Welcome back.
Okay,
It's not.
and it's all right. Gary Smith.
My name is Gary Smith. I live at 8022 Chester Terrace, East Chester, Florida. And I'm here in agreement with putting this out there. However, there are some other things that I discussed with. We talked about the tribute about all that done. But just like Ronnie said, during that time that I lived here, it was hard with depression. But we forgot the fact that when Coach Wilbert did, he went across ethnic lines. And if we look back, there weren't many people doing that. Just that in itself is. But moving on from that, there are so many other Black people that was influential in where we are today. We got to consider, even from today, when we move on from here, they're going to be small. You're going to be right. Because we are people in the community. What are we going to do concerning that? We're going to make provisions for that as well. Let this be a starting point. Let's remember that these things that take place today affect the whole future. Future of young people. Future of people that you know and I know.
Thanks.
Good evening. Definitely on 1820 Smith Street and a few other addresses. When Ronnie first started this, it started off about the TC Miller Center, the community center. And he asked all throughout Orange Park, people to come out and help make TC Miller the center. And at some point, the other part was added. I don't know much about that, but what I do know is that there wasn't 5 people. There weren't 5 people. But the support has been needed for a long time to get that. We would have never got to this point. If anybody had showed up, I know at the first meeting, I think it was meetings, and then when I lived in the job. Now things have gotten blown out of proportion, and they're not looking for good, because we only come together when there's an issue. This issue will be resolved in one time. Now, I love my family, and I'm just white. So I don't know what he did for my books, because they were way younger than me. But he wasn't fine of the community. Cities to the guys. I know to the guys, to the athlete. I played ladies softball. So he like man, but wasn't one. So the Orange Park Athletic Association has never been named. It's never been named. It's always been Orange Park Athletic Association. All the sports that he did play that I can remember are played at that park. And it has no name. Is it possible? Is it possible to name that park? Wilbert, Herbert L. Wilbert, what's your name? Herbert L. Wilbert? Herbert Wilbert. Okay, all L. And there's so many other things that go on out there. There's a building where karate can be taught. I know my granddaughter takes cheerleading out there somewhere sometime. There's a building for that. But the park can have such a substantial meaning to the community, If the entire park, if the real park, if the park was named after these people, because that's where he laid his ground. Thank you.
My name is Herman Higgins, 4606 Carriage Crossing Drive, Jacksonville, Florida. I'm all for the signs being put back along with the history. One particular thing about Raleigh, and so he changed my life. He approached me about being a fireman. And I became a fireman right here in town for 6 years. To my knowledge, I've never seen another black in this fire department. For 33 years, I was a fireman. But him being an influence and a waymaker, he was always keep my head up, stay on the train. Coach Wilbert, always a mentor through all my high school years. Football, track, he was always there for me, always pushing me. And I had the utmost respect for both men. But to this day, I would just like to say I'm missing both. So if anybody in my life that pushed me to be the man that I am today, they were those two guys. Thank
Felicia Hampshire, by the way, Greenville Springs, Florida. So, my husband wanted to be here tonight, but he's not feeling well. So he asked me if I would come in his stand. Now, what you must know is that I don't know a whole lot about the park itself. I have visited it as a young kid. Great job that you guys are doing. But let me read what happened. When we talk about removing a historical black sign from this park, we are not just discussing a piece of metal or wood. I have my glasses over with me. We're talking about erasing a story. That sign represents people, struggles, triumphs, and a history that deserves to be seen, acknowledged, and remembered. Removing it sends the wrong message that some histories are less important, less valuable, or even inconvenient. But history isn't meant to be comparable. It's meant to be truthful, and truth should never be hidden. This part belongs to the whole community, and that includes the legacy of Black voices and experiences that helped shape it. Taking that side down doesn't move us forward. It takes us back towards silence instead of understanding. We should be adding more history, like someone mentioned earlier, not subtracting it. We should be educating, not erasing. Because when we honor the full story, we build a stronger, more united community. And in closing, as Martin Luther King Jr. reminded us, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So let us choose justice. Let us choose remembrance. And let us choose to stand on the side of truth together.
That's supposed to be JC and not Jack. I'm sorry. There's no period after C, so I thought that's just a tiny E. I apologize, Mr. Flowers.
John Flowers, Jr., 1198 Alpine Drive. All I want to say is, people that I see in here today is not just Black, it's just not white. Everybody that's Coach Wilbert, everybody that's here for Robert Hunter. We all here as a community of Orange Park. Brother has put a lot of hard work. I'm gonna have to put a lot of hard work in here. Also Jackie, and I feel right in where Coach Wilbert had taken us to where we are today. I can wake up in the middle of the night and you ask me to talk about Herbert Wilbert or Robert Hunter, and I could give you a story out of this book. I'm not gonna take up one of those 2 minutes that I have, just like y'all said, but the signs does mean a lot to all of us. When they first record, we had a big crowd, a big cookout and everything, because it was just honoring the people. And Coach Wilbert was alive at that time, and he was able to see what he had stood for. And just like Coach Taylor said, wasn't just Black, white, blue, yellow, he didn't care. He loved kids, loved coaches. He did a hell of a job. Thank you.
We have tonight on the sign, so we'll go back to the committee. Move forward, with any discussion on our motion to go back to the town council for recommending that we put a sign that also provides history. It expands the history, their accomplishments for the town. Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible that maybe the council could also consider making a special day, and that way, you know, it's something that the town recognizes on a regular basis, on an annual basis, for both gentlemen and for TC Miller and Miss Miller, to recognize that, and that, you know, there's maybe a special celebration that happens over there. We've got the Curry Park, we've got the stuff that we do at the cemetery. Why not do something there that, you know, we can celebrate them? I mean, lived here almost 40 years, and you know, some of you I've seen on a regular basis growing up, and I think that, you know, we don't need to lose the history. But the one thing I would encourage your community and everybody else to do also is to remind people who they are. And maybe having that one day of celebration, that's when Mr. Flowers' accomplishments can also be recognized. Mr. Sherman, Mr. Gainer, everybody else. You're not just lifting up these 2 people. You're not lifting up 3 people. You're lifting up the community. And you're bringing your children to a place that where you guys can gather and we all can gather, right? And everybody becomes one, which is what Mr. Wilbert wanted. He didn't want it to be one versus the other. He wanted everybody to come together. And that is what it's supposed to be. And I believe that's really what the meaning of the T.C. Miller building is supposed to be. I think it's a moment in time to make that happen, to make everybody come together. And I think it's an appropriate way to do it.
And I think it's a great suggestion, those activities that you mentioned, however, Carrie Park Day and the activities at the cemetery that occurred during Black History Month and at other times are all done by the Historical Society. So it might be something that one of us takes to the Historical Society to see if they would sponsor it, or we could find sponsors to try to do something. And I agree, but that's part of this motion is first for the sign.
Actually, I do. I think it's important that you reach out to the family and ask them where they want to
We'll do that next, because this month.
No, I understand. And I agree, history is being wiped away. We see it all over the. And I'm there with that. But I will tell you, just sitting and listening to some of the stories, who would have thought we had NFL players coming from Orange Park? To me, that's history right there. And it's not one, it's multiple. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's history right there. You know, just me watching football, I'm like, that's who I wanted to be. But I didn't get there. But I'm amazed at how much history is coming out of it just by hearing the stories. NFL players, golf players. We have a lot of talent here in Orange Park. And I think that should be recognized somehow also. But that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. And so we'll take this back. The motion is for a recommendation to the council that they develop new signage for Mr. Wilbert and Mr. Hunter that includes some history about the accomplishments and these gentlemen had in their lives on other people, what they did and how they went about that we determine that and ask the town council to do that. And another motion, giving recognition to where the sign should be. Where is the sign that was
I caught the sign going into the dumpster. Read one of the employees' emails from Emily stating to put the sign in the dumpster. I don't care what you do with it. I have the sign. I own that sign.
You have the sign, yes, sir. So Mr. Flowers, are you currently have the sign? Yeah. Okay. Is there a way that, I don't know the state of the sign or anything like that, is there a way that in the meantime of getting the new sign created, that the old sign can be put back in a spot where it should go? So that way it's, like, in its place, a temporary sign,
And then once that sign comes, once the sign is being replaced, the sign goes back to Mr. Flowers or to, Mr. Wilbert's. At least then, in the meantime, we're still honoring these two gentlemen until the sign can be replaced. Permanent sign.
That's not part of the motion unless we amend that recommendation. Listen, wait, did you want to say anything?
Reference, cover costs and salary.
Yes.
I'm not sure that's,
Can I amend my motion? So I'll amend my motion to say that.
Well, you can do an amendment to the
Oh,
motion.
thank you. So I will amend my motion to say that replace this sign with, to put up the old sign until the new sign can be created in the appropriate spot, which is the town park. Is where it's supposed to go. And then once the new sign is created and is ready to be put in place, then the current sign that we put up will go back to Mr. Flowers or his daughter.
I know that's a lot.
That's it.
I think you should probably do that. Second motion, right? Let's just
Let's do this, okay. So let's vote on the current motion, which is to recommend to town council that new sign, that sign be created. So this stuff is, and that it is a location. And so all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passed. Now we can do a motion about putting the original sign back.
Yes, so I'll make a motion to put the original sign back up until the new sign is created, to be put in place of that sign, which time the current sign would be given back to Mr. Flowers or Mr. Wilbert's daughter, and then the new sign.
And for the public,
Yes, this all contingent upon the town is given the sign away, so it's no longer owned by the town.
it's no longer
So is
owned
it
by the
contingent
town.
upon Mr. Flowers getting that back to the town, so that we put it back in? I just want to make sure we're just in the right spot.
You said, well, get going.
I think the town can do that, Mr. Flowers, you don't have to do it, but first we're gonna have to get the town council approval. So every motion tonight is to go to town council. To have it replaced, to have it put back in place. So we have a motion that the original sign, we recommend to town council, the original sign be put back in place. Yes, until a new sign is created, and any new business. Okay, all right, there's a second. Did you say that? Okay, that's the second. Any other discussion? Okay, so, and
I do have a question.
us will vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, okay, we'll take that. This committee can do is recommend it to the, and then the staff will take it to council. I would anticipate it will go to council sometime. We have 2 meetings. Vote. And Mr. Taylor saying it should be the first one, hopefully he can get it ready for that one, which is 2 weeks from yesterday. Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, the next council.
That's what we're hopeful. So we'll look at the agendas, but that's what he's hopeful. Okay. Our next consideration is any recommendations to town council. Do we need to recommend any to town council, or is this just administrative, Mr. Taylor, that we work with the family not only on what needs to be summarized, however we can do it for whatever signs that we can create. We may have to raise money to create these signs, y'all. That we can create that and work with the families on that and or on recommendation.
Yeah, so ultimately, the council would then direct me to find out what the proper should be in that capacity is, and then, do the budget capacity, where the funding comes from. I do have some discussion.
When I guess my question is, do we need to make a motion to discuss that? It's.
I mean, it sounds like probably your staff needs to do some due diligence to figure out how much the sign's gonna cost, right? Because if it's $100,000, you don't wanna, unreasonable demand justification, so I think some further due diligence needs to be done. Once you have the specs, you'll know how much it's gonna cost, and that'll be a decision point that the council will need to determine, right? Because times cost money, so you have to figure out where that money goes.
She just made that. She just said, we know that.
Is there no grant funding
Ask that is there any money from what? We do not have, we don't have any pending grants from that. All closed. Yeah, I just said I'm aware that it was for the building of TC Morrison. Well, that is all closed. It's all over. That's closed. We finished with that grant. It was very specific about what we could do. And it's completed.
You have not received any other grants since that initial grant?
No, ma'am. Not that I'm aware of. We're not taking care of anything of that and pending. This time. That doesn't mean we can't request one. It means that we haven't, it's not an active grant that we can use that for. Usually when you get those grants, you apply for them, and there's a lot of specificity about what you can do with them. So,
I just wanted to make sure that I understand from the initiation of the initial grant, you have not received the additional.
yes, ma'am. This was recent grant for that, yes, ma'am. We may have had other grants, African American history grants in years past that I'm not aware of. We've been on council about almost 3 years. That's what I'm doing. That being the case, I think we can move on to our other topics.
The grant, the monies that you spent already.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to.
Okay.
Speak, but we need to be careful of the time. We can, after the meeting, I'll talk to you, we can talk to you about that. Okay, and try to answer your questions. Let's move on to the other two topics, review the previous use agreements, for 26-27, and previous use agreement policy. We've been here for over 2 hours. Committee members, committee members, would you like to continue this? Can you leave quietly if you're leaving, please, we're still meeting. Thank you. Sorry, let's continue. Let's go on to the previous use agreement. And one of the things we want to do we have any recommendations for any modification of these previous agreements? All of them come up. You know, dog training is no longer open. So one of the other, so we have, historical society, municipal parking, got a lot, for safety and training. And, they'll even quiet. And And then, the third one is the art guild, but the art is the most, but the art guild will start, doesn't expire until October 31, 2026. So I'm not sure if it's something that we necessarily do that this year. Okay. And so the main thing of the art, it would be the Walker and Walker Historical Society Art Sculpture.
So one of the things I think that we need to discuss and maybe not tonight, I think it's going to be on the agenda is how we what we make some changes. I don't know if there's another city anywhere near us that allows people to use their premises without a real, so that's one of the things that
Okay, one, there's a couple things, do this, I think this need to standardize the requirement. You're requiring insurance, the insurance is, it's not an issue, this nonprofit, this nonprofit. It needs to be standardized. So, yes.
I heard that. All right, guys. So we're still at the meeting here. We're going to have general comments here in a little bit. Right now, they're just out here gaslighting and stuff. So, and basically, I know Noli B's in the comments. I don't know if she's been filling you guys in about how they've converted this community center where the sign that they're discussing, where the sign was at. They've taken that community center, which is traditionally a historical Black community center and historical, place, and they've given it over to this art guild. They've rented this cultural center out to them for $10 a year. Just a disgusting story. And we're going to go in here and make some comments on it in just a second, but it's been an hour and a half, so I had to step out and get a smoke. Unfortunately, guys, I cannot see the chat at all. It gives me like one comment, and then I can't mess with it on this phone. I'm afraid the stream will drop off. So, first and foremost, I want to say thanks. I did see some people drop some donations out in Erie County. It looked like Peter O'Keefe. Again, I'm working with a small screen here, so I can't see a lot. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming in. I also want to let everybody know that in 5 days, my probation is up, and I'll be back on the road again full time. So that's exciting. I know everybody don't like to see me smoke, so sorry about that, but it is what it is. Yeah, we'll put together the story. You'll see some of the stuff that we saw today. We went to the community rec center. I don't know if you heard them talking just before we got out, but they were talking about a grant, $250,000 And as you heard the lady say, they've spent that money, right, on rehabbing this place. Wait till you guys see the level of craftsmanship that $250,000 buys you. It's insane. So look at your live stream, bro. I need some candy. I got some candy today. We did some public record requests at City Hall, and they had some candy jars. So feeling good about that. Other than that, guys, you see it. All right. So give me a minute. I'll turn this back around. We'll go in. We'll make some comments, and that'll be that. So. And again, if you guys don't know, I have a new channel on YouTube, Majorly Awesome. That's where all my new audits are going to be at. All right. Let's go back in here and see what we can get done. You guys are going to like J-Town's comments. I know that. Let's go back in here so we don't miss anything. I'm going to switch you guys around here again.
And then I'll move back here. Back now.
You guys. Let's go back in here, see if we get some comments.
I think that we're not charging. I mean, there are some organizations that are doing a lion's share of maintenance, and that, yeah, should they have to pay for it? No, they should not have to, because they're maintaining the town property. But if the town is having to maintain the property and everything else, then yes, there should be a higher fee for that nonprofit. And unfortunately, it's going to be a hard conversation to have, but it's one that I think we've been needing to have for quite some time.
Mr. Taylor is out, he stepped down, but Emily, we want to ask you to do some of that research, to find out what other communities are doing in East Florida for these. There are various pieces of property that people are allowed to lease, and particularly nonprofits and even for-profits. And then so that we have a starting point. The problem is we need to move on this, which means we need to meet probably next month. How long would it take you to do some of this research? Yes.
I have a little bit of it. I just need to kind of look at understand it more specific.
Maybe if that's available.
Maybe Green Cove.
Okay.
Maybe Green Cove.
And some of it may not be available. In fact, yes, sir.
One thing I would do is just don't narrow it down to small city.
No.
Get a bigger snapshot. See what happens in those Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, Green Cove, the county.
Brandon.
Just because they're doing it doesn't mean they're doing it right.
Exactly.
So get what they have and put it all together.
Would this be an inappropriate time to also, while we're reaching out for that information, just to see what they're charging for park rates for rentals as well? I mean, maybe that's something while we're doing that due diligence, we can just go ahead and pull that information as well, because maybe we're not charging enough for the town hall stuff,
But you do that pretty regularly, don't you, for the parks? It's these long-term leases that it hasn't occurred. Yeah, that you've never been asked to do with that. Yes, that's what I thought. Okay.
Just on that point, I was still remember this issue just came up with the one park attendee that wanted to use the park. We need to change the policy.
Yes.
Because the fees were not very clear. So to that point of the answer, I think it is something that the town council needs to look at revising. What are we charging and making it clear based on a crowd that you might need 5 police officers there. The way it's written now is a little empty.
When I got married here, we didn't have to there was only billing at a fee.
Okay, so we have a recommendation that previous use agreements be standardized, so that they're the same for everyone. That we only do previous use agreements for 1 year term. Do we have any other recommendations about the use agreements, any changes to that? Yes, ma'am. Come up with it's on the microphone.
What's the rationale behind just a 1 year agreement?
I think that it doesn't allow us a little bit more, not necessarily control, but to be able to kind of, to be able to make sure that, yeah, it's control, that we're, you know, that they're giving us what we're supposed to have. And I know that one of the conversations we did have on this was that, you know, yes, they would have to give us the information every year, but I think that, you know, just kind of, you know, going back to, like, you know, OPAA, they had given us the information, but I somehow it got, because of all the different change in staff, they had gotten slipped through the cracks. And so then poor OPAA had to play catch up for, you know, several years of information that they had to get. And if we do it every year, and I mean, it's not going to be a burden on OPAA, it's not going to be a burden on anybody else, I don't think. And they have to come sit back here, but they're still going to come provide us with the same information every year. It allows us a chance to continually look and make sure and not be locked in. If a 2-year contract, if a 2-year lease is there, then that, you know, I have actually done some thinking about it, that it, you know, it locks us, kind of locks us in. So if there's something that's gone sideways within that 2 years, we have to wait 2 years unless we can do legal right or whatever.
I'm not saying the way that this is written in all of our agreements, there is ample opportunity for both parties to cancel the agreement without, you know, reaching the full term of it, or if they are in compliance with with our requests, that we can say, well, you're no longer in compliance with terms of lease. So that doesn't affect me one way or the other. I know, like in the case of the art guilds, they were needing to invest in fixtures and things of that nature as part of what they wanted. So that it doesn't matter to me one way or the other, but I know massages read their own music agreements and see what would put us in one that would
yeah, it really makes sense. But is there a disadvantage to having winners?
Yeah, the only thing I'll say, I mean, to Emily's point, just when we use the term lease, what people generally think of is exactly what you stated, which is the person has a right, it's a property right, they have a right to be there. The only way you get them out is if it's the default scenario, like the traditional tenant lease, you know, tenants have a right to live there, landlord can't keep them unless they're not paying, they're not, you know, behaving the way they should in the property. These are license agreements. That was something new that when I came in, we were calling them lease agreements, so we changed that terminology to license agreement. So the license agreement is not a real estate right at all. The licensor, in this case, the town, can terminate that, you know, at any time. I've got to go back. I can't remember what it said, but at best, if there is some clause, maybe it's 30 days notice to terminate. But I feel like if there's a default, it's anytime. It's not even, and that's what you want, because that gives you that flexibility where you can exit it at any point in time. Really, the licensee, the person who's there, is really just there at the pleasure of the town. All of these, just really quick, all of these other things that you're talking about, you know, giving us financials, insurance, you can write those time ticklers into the agreement, and that automatically happens every year. So you're still protected with those, you know, types of things. But at the end of the day, how long you want it to be or not, it's a policy call. But I don't want you to think the length is going to tie your hands, because we've written the agreement where we can exit. Anyway.
My question about the multi-year agreements is, if there's a change that we want to make or need to meet, and then we're locked into a multi-year agreement, would we be able to then amend the premise use agreement?
Yeah, in fact, it would be, because you can terminate it at any time. So here's what that conversation is gonna look like. OPAA, you wanna make 5 changes to the agreement. OPAA says, but wait, I have a term that doesn't end until a year from now. Then I'm gonna say to you, well, you actually have a right to exit this contract anytime you want. And as soon as you tell OPAA that, they're gonna then come back to you and say, no, what is it that you would like to do? Right, I mean, that really is how it works. Because you have the upper hand because we're the licensor, and you can pull out of that, contract, at any point. So.
For the record of anybody listening, we're not saying anything about OPA. Yeah, throw it out there, just clarification. Last thing we need.
You're talking about getting that exclusive rights versus the rights.
And nothing in that would preclude you from choosing to review it in committee level annually, if that's what you want.
And I would just say, really, for any types of partners, I would say in the community where you know that these are partners that you want to remain there, it's probably a better relationship if it's a longer term. Otherwise, people just, there's this uncertainty. That being said, at the end of the day, it really is just a policy call.
So let me ask you this on that, excuse me, but would we, so like OPAA or the Historical Society, they have been long-term partners of the town of Orange Park. Would we be able to, my concern is that if we do start entering into these long-term agreements, license agreements, then somebody new that comes in, would they expect that same level of extension to them for multi-year? Or can we as the town say, you're new, you're gonna do a 1 year for, for X number of years, and then we can revisit a multi-year after so many years of successful partnership?
Totally. And again, when you say long-term, previously I was at the city of Jacksonville. It was nothing for them to have 30-year leases with nonprofits, museums, the Florida Theater, right? These are people that, partners that the city, county wanted to be embedded in the community. But the give and take was, okay, you're having it for 30 years, but then most of the maintenance is going to be done, kind of by that nonprofit. So long term in my mind, it's not really 3 years or 5 years, it's like 10 years, 20 years, that type of thing. But 3 years, I'm not even sure. That's multi-year, I would call that. I'm not sure that's long term in that sense.
But
at the end of the day, you can do, at the end of the day, you can, from lessee to lessee, licensee to licensee, control those terms, you can change them. And again, depending on the activity that the licensee is doing, that person that's staying in the space, it may warrant somebody having 3 years versus 1 year. That's a very important factor in terms of how long you decide, the town decides they want the license to be. A museum might be very different from, someone that's just there, yeah, exactly. Pilot programs.
Post office leases much longer than any of our
Since I kind of stirred that up, and I'll tell you where I was. Just because we have someone in your space now, when your term is up, you might have 3 people that are looking at that space. When you do long term, you're locking, I will use the word, you're locking a nonprofit into that space for long term, where the space should be available every year for multiple nonprofits that has to use, instead of you staying.
that works
Really for y'all, this museum or the zoo, for instance, City of Jacksonville has a use with the zoo people, right? Those are gonna be, you want to be there on a daily basis, so I think it really just depends on the type of use and how important the town sees that particular use in terms of, you know, this is an embedded activity that we want to be long term, and it's not like a passing. I think when you look at cultural things, museums, aquariums, zoos, things like that, those counties and cities are going to have long-term agreements for the obvious reasons. Those are cultural things that are usually embedded into.
And who's gonna kick this zoo out when it? Okay. So again, the mayor recommend, maybe we use the term recommend generally only 1-year terms. Input to consideration for longer or something. About that. You just want 1-year terms.
Again, I'm just looking what is fair for everyone. Instead of liking who did, it's available for everyone. And you're gonna go with what need is. And it might be, the YMCA might come to us and say, hey, we would like to lease a building. It all depends what the need is.
But maybe we could, because we could again, make the agreements with whoever.
I mean, to the mayor's point, it's not uncommon if the town had a space to do an RFP, because, you know, instead of having one person come to you and that just happens to be one person, there may actually be 10 other people out there who would love to use the space, but they just don't know it's there. So what you typically see municipalities and counties doing is a request for proposal. Tell us how you imagine the space can be used, what's the best optimal use of the space, and you would score it, you grade it, you look at that, those proposals and pick, to mayor's point, who has the best idea for the use of this space.
What's gonna benefit the people?
Any other suggestions for policy type thing, and changes to the review of current issues agreements? We pretty much, I think, had the ones that we have updated. They've been updated, within the last 2 years. And I think we pretty much, which
Yeah, I think
it's there.
Yeah, I think they were lightly updated. Because when I did the update, we were running up against the fiscal year was ending, so I had to kind of quickly make those absolute necessary changes. But I'm happy to work with them to really take a look at this and get it in,
License agreement or?
license agreement.
That's why I said that.
But you're going to look at it differently, just work with it, changes to us. And when can we anticipate
I think Emily's got some research, right, that's going to inform you. So maybe the next meeting, I think probably would be time well spent where you're digesting the research. Once you make that decision point, because you may make the decision point to not charge anything, you could make the decision point to charge something discounted. That will better inform the changes that we make.
I guess because I'm asking because it's April. We've got changes coming, potential committee changes and or potential other standing rules that create some other committee changes, which would buy some time. if we're safe, so we think they're safe. Pushes to June. For this committee. Usually make, that the mayor usually makes assignments. This will be June.
Either way, I think either way you go. I think you should start next month.
Yes.
And just start feeding the committee change as a committee. And they just pick up.
Okay. That's fine. So, yes.
Information. If no changes, the committee stays status quo until new people get put on, or do they pause until? Until successors come in, maybe say, yeah, we could have a meeting in like May.
Yes. We can do like, I was just concerned if we don't get back to them, that's where they need to be. But it needs to be as early, just so that we're not in that September. We're just remember that and okay, we're just trying to be ahead of that. That's what we're trying to do. All right, any other comments on this? We're clear on what you're going to do for us for our next meeting. Courtney, you'll schedule a meeting for us at the meeting.
Do my best, get tight.
Mr. Petty, any suggestions? Okay.
To the extent that you are participating, you're going to implement these changes in the new fiscal year, right?
Yes.
It might not be a bad idea to notify the current licensees and just make them aware that you're having these conversations so that, you know, there's not such a stop, right? And this is also an opportunity for them to correct. I don't know if they were told specifically what's going to be on the agenda that would impact their current license agreements, but just out of courtesy. It may not be a bad idea.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? Is it possible that we can find out, because through our conversations that we just had, we talked about the dollar amounts versus whether or not they're doing maintenance and they're doing the upkeep versus whether or not the town is paying for all the upkeep, so on. Is it possible to find out how that's occurring? Because that is going to have an impact as to what we say. So this is historical society, you know, are they doing all the upkeep, blah, blah, blah. Well, if they are, okay, great. Well, then that's something that we need to go. Or is it 75-25? You know, that would, I think, help us make a decision on that as
well. Miss Emily, are you okay with that? I understand how you were writing. Just didn't want to move forward verbally if you're like, wait a minute, back up. Too much one time, too much with everything else that's going on for me. Okay. And you all are accustomed to notifying our pro users when we make these, when we recommend something. So as we come back and discuss, maybe at the next meeting, we'll let them know that, you know, for any updates that we're reviewing the use agreements for any updates. Thank you. All right. And are we doing anything else on those two topics, or previous use agreements or previous use agreement policy? Need to work on that policy, but it's going to have to come with it. Said something. Outline or something.
on the permit use agreement policy, or do we already have something writing that I missed?
No, we, okay, no, we did not. We need to. Oh, okay.
I would look to staff.
Yes. I'm looking for staff. Yes. To develop an outline of something, to give us some guidance on developing a purchase policy.
And how is B different from C, just so we're curiosity?
What?
On our agenda, B different from C. That's why I was,
Because the agreements are one thing, the policy is how the how the town administers, guides the town staff and the town in administering the agreements and discussing those with the people. So
I guess I was looking for something in our packet, like,
no,
okay, okay.
that is
So I'm trying to make sure I didn't.
okay, it wasn't. Do we have any staff updates?
No, just plugging along like usual. We're gonna have 3 more markets left before we take our summer break. Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. And it's all right. We have, are there any, before we do the general audience comments, do we have any, I think 4, any, general comments from the committee?
I'm looking maybe for this meeting, maybe 4 July 4th, we had talked about maybe planning something for the 4th of July for the residents. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not this year, but maybe.
Did you get a chance to do anything on that?
That's about as far as we got.
There have been discussions about some possibility of a grade and capacity. Again, not having any allocation. The county is working on something that it's not before July 4th per se. It's a conversation with the county manager, doing kind of a county-wide event where potential for residents or others in capacity outside of operation, those type of situations. Have been discussed and flipping around some dates in that capacity, but we definitely a situation that will allow, some cost sharing. Ultimately, like I said, at this point, with the timing and the situation, getting a full parade. Expensive, that's much.
But we had talked about, decorating the yards.
Yeah, we've talked about those items, like doing all the flags and that type of stuff. That I think is out of the realm. Some of the discussion. Finally, so that is something like that. I don't want to. Yeah, we would have no problem with looking for those. I'm sure we can do some of the flags we usually.
I also think that Melissa was talking about, like, we were going, one of the ideas we had toyed with was promoting, like, neighbor to neighbor competition type thing, kind of like you do the yard of the month type thing, right? And this would be, 250th celebration, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And that was something else we talked about. Because that is very low cost. And that's just advertising and putting it on Facebook and then, picking a few homes. It's not just gonna be one home. It could be several homes, right? So, and businesses who promote both.
And then, from a promotional standpoint, lots of social media, it's very low impact. Not sure how that would coordinate. So we can talk about what kind of limits that would be.
As far as the parade, I think we have discussed that. It's just that it's we've had issues in the past when they have tried to do the parade, so.
Sure.
Something else with the community.
Okay. Yeah, we have.
Do all of you have any comments? No? Then we'll move on, if it's all right, to our audience comments, rights, Christie.
She's gonna go grab him. I'll take my turn now in place of him. Yes. All right, guys, can you hear me? Hello. Okay. Great. I wanted to come to the meeting here tonight because some stuff had been brought to my attention about the community center over there where the sign had been removed. And part of the issue that had been addressed to me was this art guild that had been moved in to the community center here. So I went there today. I did some looking around. I understand that we just had a African American cultural grant for that location you were talking about earlier. You said all that money had been spent to refurbish that location. So I'll be looking into and I'll be requesting any records to do with the said renovation, the contractors used, anything of that nature, because I got to tell you, $250,000. I don't know where it went. I have no clue. I looked at the carpet there. I looked at the walls. I looked at the doors. I mean, I looked everywhere in that place. I didn't see it. So we're going to find out where that went. And also, I'd like to sign up for the $10 per year rental fee. Or can I get some location here? You guys said you were discussing leases. I'd like to secure a lease for $10 a year. I have a ballerina school that I do. It's very nice. I think I would be a great community partner member here for Orange Park. So I'll submit that, and hopefully I'll get the same good deal that the Art Guild got as well. Thank you, guys.
Christie.
Thanks again. My name is Finn. I go by Rage Crispy. I'm from the 70s. We've come a short way since then. But people are still talking about segregated schools in 2026. And I'm not saying put it behind us. I'm saying it's a shame that there's still that pain and no healing has happened. I think places like the historical sites are the proper venue for that healing. I think they've been robbed of that. And I'm not putting blame here. I'm putting the duty and the responsibility to fix the problem on you all. It's a resource that must be maintained as such until 2036. Given that the grant was titled African American Historical Cultural Grant, how does the removal of the historical names align with that legal obligation, like I asked before? Regarding the $190,000 parking lot and ADA compliance, according to Amendment 3 of the grant agreement, the town received $190K to the level and pave the parking lot and construct 4 ADA compliant parking spaces. Our current site photos show a weathered pre-existing concrete lot and only 2 visible handicap spaces. Can the committee provide the itemized invoices showing where that $190,000 went? If 75% of a cultural heritage grant was spent on asphalt in the parking lot, why is that lot now being used primarily to serve a private leaseholder instead of the public programs the grant was originally intended to support? Interior renovations. I saw the carpet in there, and the quality. The project budget was allocated $30,000 specifically for playroom carpeting. The actual installation consists of thin self-adhesive carpet squares that retail for approximately $1 for 10 square feet. Can the town explain why professional grade materials were not used despite the significant state funding provided for this rehabilitation? The grant purpose was for the rehabilitation of the facility, yet the new bathrooms featured chipped sinks patched with filler and old broken hardware. And there's a lot more. My suggestion, if people are looking for more materials to put in there, just talk to these people and record that. Put those recordings in there, kind of like at the Freedom Riders. If you've ever gone to Alabama and seen Freedom Riders bus stop, you could press a button and hear those heartbreaking stories. Or these inspirational stories that we heard today. That's just an idea of something that could be done there.
Thank you, sir. Susanna Thompson.
Susanna Thompson, 2425 Dogwood Lane, Orange Park, 32073. The reason that I decided to come up here is just to let you know, Carrie, I'm on the Historical Society of Orange Park board, and I would be happy to share your information or your questions with the board regarding potentially doing something even during Black History Month for T.C. Miller and with the plaques and everything. So I just wanted to let you know. Also, we have a meeting at the beginning of each month. And if any of you are members, please come and join us because we'd love to have everybody's input. Thank you.
Taylor Sally.
My name's Tater Salad. Shout out to Ron. You lucky bastard. This fucking finger is for the fucking corruption that I've heard about here with some assholes in the city government. I come here today to fucking investigate and get some fucking public records. What the fuck am I going to find?
There are children in here. Please. There are children in here. Stop it.
This is called free speech, so go fuck yourself.
Stop.
2 volunteers, meaning not fucking paid, there today said the artists get most of the fucking money. Then the guild gets the rest. The rest is to cover the fucking operational costs. I asked myself, where are the fucking operational costs? What the fuck? That's a great fucking deal. Some of the fucking art was over $500. Wow. Fucking wow. Cannot wait to get the fucking bottom of this corruption. Of this great fucking deal.
Golf clap.
That's all for our public comments, our audience comments in general. Did I miss it? Oh, I'm sorry, concerned citizen. I must have picked up too. Please, come on, stay here.
I think as far as like some of the historical stuff over at the T.C. Miller Park or area, that building that houses the bathrooms is a block building. We could have a mural painted on that that faces the ball court. Yeah. You know, things like that. There's so many different things. If you just look around at different cities and see what they're doing, things that can be done. The history needs to be out there for people though. And there's kids that are out in that park every day playing ball. Having something that they can see while they're playing ball would be great. You know, something, anything would be great. Also, it's kind of hard to hear some of you guys. You kind of mumble even with the microphones in front of you. So,
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right, and that's our last public comment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
And I said we have a motion, second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for respecting the right.
yeah.
Right there, my child is right
here.
All right, there you have it.
To me, it's like that. Income press is from Jackson. And there's one more of them. That's right, certainly. We all have YouTube channels. They're big channels, like hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
I wanna be watching.
Okay.
And if y'all do us right, because let me tell you something, those other appointments, that's the man who's good. He works there in the community. That's the town manager. He's about to move. But that means on him and him. He works with myself.
You know, good. Thank you. You too, sir. Not gonna stand around there with those gas lighters. You got me out of your mind. That shit's done. I'm out of here. I ain't spending no more extra time gassing around with these doofus ass employees. Y'all know how I roll. In and out. Get the job done. Damn lady called the cops, said she was feeling uncomfortable. She couldn't walk out to her car. Give me a break. Out of your damn mind, woman. Nobody wants to bother your ugly ass. All right, guys. So, saw it. Craziness, as always. It's what they do. So we're gonna get into this community center here. $250,000. We ain't kidding. Wait till you see the video that I took of this damn carpet. It is disgusting. It's ridiculous. It is freaking ridiculous. I don't know how they thought they'd get away with it. Probably because they've gotten away with it for many, many years. But it's a shame. I'm back on the road again. And it was super funny. You noticed that the lady in the pink who was talking about she was talking about this one right here, lady in the pink. She was talking about watch your mouth. I got kids here, and I'm sure you guys saw at the end of the live stream, her kid walks up to her and says, "What the hell?" Yeah, I'm sure those are words that your daughter's never heard, lady. Right? Oh, my daughter's here. She's never heard those words, and then her daughter comes up and says, "What the hell?" Oh. Yeah, she's an innocent angel, virgin ears. Okay. Oh, Blind Justice, Noli D, flying down for the next one. Well, you know, we'd love to have you down. It's been a while since we saw you, but absolutely like to have you down. The other guys are in there. They're still hobnobbing with some folks, I'm guessing, seeing what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here in just a minute, but I did want to let you guys know that, again, next week I'm off probation. You'll be seeing lots and lots and lots and lots of more of me and Wright's Crispy. Me and Crispy will be going out again. Oh, blue steel.
Hey, y'all, what's shaking, y'all?
Yeah, I'll be hanging
down here on Orange Park, Florida.
Orange Park. So I'll be hanging out with Blue here and there as well. So, but yeah, I saw. Yeah, I saw them. They did walk out though. Is the cops still coming? Oh, the cops are?
Here, I'll finish that for you.
Well, hold on. Let me light it real quick for you. Let me light this. I'm gonna go in here and see what these cops are. Yes, yes. Every day of the week. Hey, the cops still in there?
He's walking out the other side.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. He hit his body cam.
I forgot to hit my damn body cam. I was saving my battery. I couldn't get the battery because it heated up. You know, the heat shield on these damn. Are you live?
I am live.
Fucking A! Everybody got to see my speech.
Everybody got.
She interrupted me. I think I skipped a couple lines. Fuck.
Well, we threw a couple fucks in there. we threw a couple F-bombs in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy fuck the cops day.
I thought shit was going to go sideways there for a minute.
I did too.
I think the lawyer calmed it down because she knew.
Who was the lawyer? Was that the black lady?
Yep.
Okay. I kind of assumed.
Yeah.
What did she say? Did she say something?
I don't know. I wasn't watching. I had focused on you, so I wasn't looking to see who was actually calming them down. But I guarantee it's probably the lawyer.
Yeah.
Only one smart enough in the room to figure out what they was getting set up.
There's actually Florida case law. It's McDonough v. the city of Homestead. Actually, is a case law that they just forget what the year was, but they basically won, saying that vulgarities and stuff like that you can say, you know, at city council meetings.
And they're talking about McDonough versus Garcia that just got passed in the 11th Circuit. McDonough versus Garcia. James McDonough, Doc Justice. He also has a Facebook page called True Homestead. That's his Facebook page, True Homestead. So, all right, guys, we're going to let you roll. We're going to get out of here. We got a long drive back home.
Later!
2-hour drive. 2-hour drive. So we're going to grab something to eat.
Happy fucking Tuesday!
That's Wednesday.
Oh, fucking Wednesday!
That's Wednesday. I'm off work. So, all right, folks, thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching, as always. And remember, sub to Majorly Awesome, guys, because all my new audits are going to be going on my new channel. Not going to be putting any audits on this channel. All right?
No, we're
Thanks, guys. Love you. We'll see you soon.
Fight the power.